May I now request Mrs. Lata Rajnikant and Mr. Balki to release the copies of the book.
Welcome to this great evening. This evening can't get better. And to add more glitter and light, we have two very special guests on a Kartikeya Deepam evening. What else we want? Let me talk about the journey of the book. And the journey of the book had all the elements, perhaps, that get into making of a Rajini film. The need for a great content, unique concept, fabulous screenplay, a lovely title, lot of design elements, pressure on production and delivery capability, huge expectations from the public, and lot of responsibilities on creators and makers of this book. But let me tell you, I think we have done a fairly good job with a lot of sincerity, and hopefully this book should excite you. Doing a book back to back with Mr. Rajini on the background is a very, very huge task. A lot of stress, but that gets hidden by the kind of joy, fulfillment, happiness that I derived all this while. Thanks to Mr. Rajinikanth for making me a writer once again. Nothing more. I think now it is up to you. We have far superior, better people to talk about this book and what they feel about this book. I'll leave it to them. But before that, perhaps Ram will have a few words with you on this book. Thank you so much. And before I leave, I'd like to say one more thing. What is there in this book? As you read the book, I'm sure Mr. Balki will have his statements very shortly. As you read the book, you will smile at many times, you will laugh, you will clap with him, you will criticize, you will raise a few questions. But at the end of the day, just like a Rajini movie, I promise excitement in this book. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming here, gracing this occasion and launching this book. It's a great moment for us in our life. We'll cherish this forever. My primary thanks has to go to superstar Rajini sir, because he was the very reason that united me with PC Parker. I'm very sure that we both could have ended up in some archive as an incomplete business transaction, but for a break-in session we had in our long first meeting, where we quickly realized that we simply adored Rajini sir. That has converted to a long-lasting friendship and partnership. So thank you, Rajini sir, for uniting us. You can say this is the power of Grand Rajini, making strangers best friends. I think PC has thanked everybody, but I want to share a couple of my own experiences with Grand Rajini. In a method of madness of 4 people, out of which 3 are here. Suresh Narayan, can you put your hand up? And Mr. Bhaskar? 3 of us embarked on a road trip all the way from Chennai to Leh. As we were coming back from Leh, Kargil, Srinagar, Amritsar, Bikaner, Jaisalmer, as we left the greeneries of Punjab and entered the desert land of Rajasthan, a lot of sand on both sides of the road, pedal to metal drive, and we see this tea shop coming in yonder, and we decided to have a cup of tea. As we approached the tea shop, this lone tea shop owner walks towards the car, and of course asks in very different kind of a dialect, Rajasthani Hindi, "Are you from Tamil Nadu?" pointing to our registration. His next question was, "Rajini Saab kaisa hai?" We 4 of us didn't know what to say. We were stunned with disbelief. This man cannot even see a film till he travels at least 80 kilometers. But that's the power of a brand. It cuts across geography, it goes across culture, religion, language, and invokes the deep emotion and desire of a human being. I've seen in labor camps in the Middle East, where low-paid construction workers assemble in a cramped room to forget their woes from India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Nepal, and even Arab nations as Egypt, Eritrea, to forget their woes and enjoy the fun and frolic of a Rajini sir movie. I've listened to learned professors, I've listened to modern day youthful tech whiz kids, listen to big corporate executives. And every time they have something to say about what they have learned in terms of their beliefs and values from the superstar. To me, this is a brand which doesn't belong to any segment. It doesn't belong to any group. It's all about their passion for brand Rajini. It is the same passion which both PC and I have driven to get this book completed. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure all of you are going to relish, cherish this enchanting, entertaining, and above all, enduring world of brand Rajini. Thank you so much.
First of all, let me congratulate Mr. Balasubramaniam and Mr. Ram. I read this book on the flight. I actually didn't need 1.5 hours to kind of read this book. This was as racy as, it was like him talking. I can just almost imagine Rajini talking, and it's as fast as that. It's really riveting. It's fabulously written, and well, we can go on and on about Rajinikanth, and we're all great fans of his. He's truly an icon. The most important thing about him, which I think this book has kind of captured, is almost his originality. You know, a lot of people think that Rajinikanth is a superstar and that and this, and there's so much of following. But I actually think he's possibly one of the very few true creations of this country, or true original creations of this country. A lot of what we do today is inspired, is kind of, you know, we're trying to say we are as good as the West, we're good as this, but he's actually absolutely original. You can't see a specimen like him in the world. And that is, I think, the truest, strength of Rajinikanth. Because he's never aped anybody. He's just been original from the time he's there, and he's been like that. Regardless of what people said about him, regardless of what people thought of him. And that's the way he's always been. One of the greatest learnings from this book, actually, it's not just a book on, it's just not a book on case studies, it's just not a book on other brands, which is beautifully contextualized, because there is a facet of Rajini's life or Rajini's character which is quickly kind of compared to a real life case of brand, and it almost seems too good to be true. What I just want to remind people, and what this book does, most management books or most brand marketing or brand management books, what they do is they just paint as if there are some holy kind of, rules by which to build brands. This book actually paints a very real picture. You always forget, it's always nice to read a book at the end of many, many years. And today, from where Rajini sir is, you can easily look at it and say, this is what it takes to be a superstar or a super brand. This is not what they've done. They have always kept reminding us of the journey that you have. You know, it is not, that's the end result. Of a great brand is an end result. But the journey on the way is hell. It's not easy. During that journey, nobody knows whether you're going to be a great brand, grand brand, what it is. It's perseverance, it is sticking to what you believe in, and it is going at it with simplicity, with humility. And I want to say one thing about Rajini sir's very famous humility. I think it is the confidence of Rajini sir which makes him so humble. He will always praise anybody who is a kind of a so-called competition, so-called threat, so-called anything else. He's never insecure. But that comes from an inherent confidence of being what you are, and very sure, regardless of the competition, I'm going to be what I am. And one of the biggest learnings of any brand building is be very, very clear about who you are first. You know, it is very easy to say, oh, that guy is behaving like this, let me go this way. This guy is behaving like this, let me go this way. It's always very, very easy to kind of be wary of the world around you and forget who you are. Because most of us forget that we become famous and we come into a position of threat because of what we were, because people liked what we were. And suddenly when we all become famous, like brands do, like Rajini, we said, no. The world wants something else. We're now famous, we've got to look after our fame. No, the world made you famous only because of what you are. And the greatness of people like Rajini sir is constantly reminding himself that that is why the world made me what I am. Let me go back to my roots. Let me be what I am. And that he's never changed. And most great brands don't. What I find really fascinating about this book, it's not a blind idol worship of Rajinikanth. It's a very, very well thought through, beautifully written book with a lot of substance and coming from, I've read a lot of books, people kind of give a lot of gyan brands and things like that. But this is such a simple book, all of us will easily relate to a lot of lines that are being said there, which are being written here. But it's very, very simply written, very entertainingly written, and very insightfully written. So I must, request all you guys to read this book, even if you're not in management, even if you're not in anything to do with marketing. It's a riveting read. And I hope Rajini sir reads this book and endorses a brand. Thank you very, very, very much.
Good evening to everybody, and to my dear friend Balki, Ram and Bala. I'm so touched by the fact that my husband has inspired them to write about him, not just one book, but the second one too. And that people have found it interesting to read and learn something from it. And I would like to quote my father here in the early part of our marriage when we were totally two different people, and people wondered how, two different, absolutely different backgrounds were getting together. And when my father, learned more and more about him, he always used to say, Rajini, you're the biggest, you're bigger than a management student. Because he could manage himself well. He's got every aspect of management built into his system. And that's why perhaps he could make himself a brand. And if he has inspired people to learn from him, and if it has gone to the level of going into management schools, I think that's a great compliment to a person's life. And I wish that, and as he would also wish, that that he can be of use to people if it is something that he can convey through his life. That's been a dream in the person. He had, as Balki said, the kind of confidence that he's made of something that he can make himself bigger, and the kind of passion he had to make himself that. And being with him, we see that it's not just in films that you see the kind of person you see, but there's another side of him that reflects the very essence of what you see on the screen. And so even in reality, he is a brand. So it's not just in films. In reality too, we feel that he lives like a brand, he talks like that, and he is that. I take this opportunity to thank every one of you who has been a part of our lives and made it so meaningful and so special. And I'll carry this message back to him and say that if you become a brand today, it's because of what he dreamt as a little boy from a small town. And I think it's a great story that everyone can learn from. And I have no qualms to say that, and definitely he's special. So,